Fort Barrington is one of those places in Antigua where the landscape explains the history almost instantly. Perched on Goat Hill at the western entrance to St. John's Harbor and overlooking Deep Bay, the fort was built to command one of the island's most strategically important approaches. From up here, the British could watch ships moving toward the harbor, defend the anchorage, and use the height of the hill as both a military lookout and a signal point. The site had defensive importance even before the present ruins were built. A battery existed here as early as the 17th century, when the British were trying to secure Antigua against rival European powers and protect the growing importance of St. John's as a trading center. The fort that survives today dates to 1779, when the older position was rebuilt and renamed for Admiral Samuel Barrington, a senior Royal Navy commander associated with Britain's Leeward Islands Station during that era. Its role was not isolated. Fort Barrington worked together with Fort James across the harbor entrance as part of a wider defensive network protecting St. John's Harbor. This mattered enormously in the late 18th century, when the Caribbean was not just a tropical frontier, but a contested imperial battleground tied to naval power, trade routes, and the wealth of the sugar economy. Antigua's harbors were valuable, and forts like this were built to make sure that value could be defended. What makes Fort Barrington especially significant is that tourism sources for Antigua describe it as the only fort on the island known to have seen military action. That gives the ruins a different weight. This was not simply a symbolic outpost, it was part of the real defensive machinery of empire, active during periods that included the American Revolutionary era and later regional tensions tied to the War of 1812. Today, what remains is a haunting but powerful shell, a semicircular gun emplacement, a powder magazine, internal stone steps, and the remnants of barracks, all still clinging to the hill above the bay. And that is what makes Fort Barrington so compelling on camera. It is not only a ruin with a view, it is a place where Antigua's beauty and its military past meet in the same frame, where turquoise water, trade, empire, and survival all come together in silence above the sea. The beach you find by Fort Barrington is Deep Bay Beach, and it is one of the most scenic spots on the west coast of Antigua. It sits just below the hill where the fort stands, so the setting is especially striking. A calm crescent of sand, still turquoise water, and the historic ruins of Fort Barrington rising above the bay. What makes Deep Bay special is its atmosphere. The water is usually described as calm and clear, and the bay itself is sheltered, which helps create a quieter, more protected feel than some other beaches. Marine and resort sources describe it as a place with white or golden sand, clear water, and a very scenic anchorage. Another distinctive feature of the beach is the Andes shipwreck, which lies in the bay and is well known as a snorkeling and diving point. Local marine guidance notes that the wreck is protected, and travel sources describe it as one of the unusual wreck sites that can be appreciated relatively easily from the bay.